What is object oriented programming? Hello everyone and welcome once again. So today we will be diving deep into which is known as object oriented programming. Let's go. Unlike in C language, C++, Python, and Java offer OOP. OOP basically means object oriented language, where instead of certain steps or functions, we deal with real time object. That means we treat functions or attributes or variables as real time objects. And there are many features. First type of programming is procedural oriented programming, where you focus only on the code and it is not user centric. Advantages of OOP over POP. First is that we can secure sensitive information in class by making private or protected. Second is that it provides a clear structure and it is easier to execute and it's also faster. It makes code easier to maintain, modify, and debug since we create different classes. And fourth, that it creates full reusable applications with less code and shorter time. OOP is great for real life projects, but the disadvantages are the length could be much larger. We cannot apply it everywhere as it's not a universal language. You need to have brilliant designing skills, and it also takes time. And we have to really be mindful. What is class? So, class is structure of real time object or template. And object is the instance of class. Object is used to access data members and member functions in class. Now let's look at the features of OOP. The first is encapsulation. What is it? It means that we hide member functions so that they won't be accessed from users, and it is bound to class. Like there are three types of access specifiers: private, public, and protected. An access specifier means that it specifies the accessibility of member functions. Private means that you cannot access those variables or functions or methods outside the class. Public means you can access it anyhow. And protected means in specific classes you can use them. Default access specifier is private. What is inheritance? So inheritance means a class takes the attributes of another class. Now just the way the parent inherits some qualities like looks or certain personality traits from the grandparent, and similarly the son takes. So this is inheritance. Like you inherit the properties, you can inherit the class, etc. And there is parent class and there is the child class. There are different types of inheritance. The first type is multi-level, where like different levels, like grandparent, parent, and child. Like only one child class is created, only one parent class. Second is multiple. Here, two parent classes are there and the child inherits both the properties. And there is the multi-level. There is the hybrid type where different types of classes could be implemented. Hierarchical inheritance means two or more classes inherit the properties from one parent class. In inheritance, data members of a class are inherited by another class, and only protected and public types could be accessed. Private classes cannot be accessed. If inherited class is public, protected and public stay like that, and private obviously doesn't come. If inherited class is protected, every type of class, even though it's public, becomes protected, and if it becomes private, all become private. Third type is polymorphism. Now what is polymorphism? So polymorphism basically means that a particular class takes various forms. Take instance of the class named shape. Like we suppose create a class for determining perimeter and area, we can use those for different shapes. So yes, it takes different forms. It basically means changing properties of a particular class. Now there is a very important term known as abstraction. So what is abstraction? So abstraction basically means to hide unnecessary details and show only the important details. There are certain terms which are extremely important while learning OOP. I'm going to start a coding series where we are going to discuss various problem statements, concepts, etc. And the first language will be C, but we will also study through other languages like C++ and Python. And yes, we are also going to learn different other concepts. So yes, to follow my coding series, and I'm going to create a separate list for the coding or problem solving series. just like the DSA series. So yes, do like this video. So do follow my podcast and also follow my Instagram and Twitter handles.
I have also created a website of my own. Do check. The link is in description box.
So a constructor basically creates the class and it is created default. Like default, a class is created and the constructor gets implemented. It is a special function. This is called when object is created automatically. It has no return type, not even void. It assigns default values. It could be parameterized or non-parameterized. And it should always be publicly created. And the opposite of that is known as destructor, which destroys the class, and we only put
Tilde sign before the class name. These are the syntaxes.
private members cannot be accessed, but there is a friend function like a friend which can access secret data. So a friend class can access private and protected members of another class in which it is declared as friend. The second term is operator overloading. Now this is a tough thing. It allows developers to redefine the behavior of operators like plus, minus, into, mod, etc. for user defined types and not for system defined types. It enables objects of a class to interact using operators in a way that is intuitive and similar to built-in types, and it is a form of polymorphism. Next is exception handling. It is a mechanism to handle runtime errors gracefully and prevent program from crashing. Like sometimes some errors happen, like error like divisor becomes 0, or the value of array, like the index goes out of bounds, etc. It allows developers to respond to unexpected conditions like invalid inputs, unavailable resources, hardware failures, etc. The first is throw. It signals that error has occurred. The second is catch. It handles exceptional cases like if the divisor becomes 0, etc. And the third is try. It encloses code that might throw an exception, like the for loop type. Now the error. Error means when source code, like error means some bugs or some problem which happens with the code. The first is compile time. It happens when source code is compiled. Similar is compile time for polymorphism, when the class can take different form during the compilation time. And the causes of the compile time error, syntax or type of declaration errors, missing files. And runtime errors means it occurs when program is executed after successful compilation. The cause is wrong behavior or program clashes or logical errors, invalid operations, external issues, etc. And there is runtime polymorphism, when classes can take different forms during the runtime. Copy constructor is a member function which initializes an object using another object of the same class. Next is type conversion. We use this to convert between different data types, including user-defined data types.
The first type is class to class, where we convert a variable from a particular class to another class. The second type is base to class, that is we convert a base variable to a class variable. And the third is class to base.
Scope resolution operator is used to access global variables. Error handling means it corrects error. First is synchronous. It depends on program block and we handle while building logic and we can control it. Asynchronous means we cannot control program, like if power gets off. We use the exception handling cases. Type conversion is another concept where we convert a particular data type attribute or a variable into another data type, like int to char or char to float, etc. A virtual function means the function which is declared and not defined, at least in the class. A pure virtual class means the class which is declared but not at all defined. Function overloading means we use two functions of same name with different parameters and it depends upon number or type of arguments, etc. A class which contains at least one virtual function is known as abstract class, and a virtual class cannot be static or a friend. Static means a constant type of class in which the properties cannot be changed.
When a variable is declared as static, space for it gets allocated for the lifetime of the program. And the space is allocated only once and the value is constant.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Hope you understand the concepts of OOP, which is really, really easy and fun. Bye.